but they got to amputate because the gangrene is coming up and they don't, and you don't want to die. Well, which type of amputation would you want? Would you want the messy amputation where they pull out an old rusty saw and just trying to and give you all kinds of infections and bacteria in your leg when as they're cutting it off? Or would you prefer something clean, like something nice and surgical? We're going to give you anesthesia, and the laser is going to make a clean break that's like microscopically protected, and the no bacteria will survive because it's perfectly, like we're going to make sure that it's nice and the wound is nice and clean and protected. Which would you rather have? You'd rather have the clean amputation, I assume. Right. Tracy says neither. Absolutely. But neither is not an option. Neither is not an option. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes we lose stuff, right? And I can tell you that the only thing worse than a divorce is a messy divorce. A messy divorce is a whole different level of hell. It's like you're already kind of in hell. Maybe you're in purgatory because you could get back to heaven and you might meet somebody great. If you're constantly working on self-improvement, let me promise you this. If you're constantly committed to improving yourself and learning and growing and from all your experiences, you'll almost always end up in a better situation than you were in before. Relationship wise, economic wise, everything. Because if you have a growth mindset, meaning I'm deep into self-improvement, I'm learning constantly, I'm growing constantly. If I make a mistake, I'm gonna capitalize that and turn that mistake into an asset, not an expense. An expense is where you spend money and it's gone. An asset is where you still spent money, but you got something to show for it, right? So there's a difference between me wasting $200,000 at the club versus me spending $200,000 on a house, right? So really, I can guarantee you, if you have a growth mindset, and I'll tell you a little secret. This is TMI, but I'm gonna tell you anyway because it's relevant. I had a girlfriend. I had a woman that I liked. That she was very pretty and very smart, and I liked her. And I'm a relationshipy kind of guy. I wasn't, when I became more famous, I actually, believe it or not, it was very strange. I didn't know that professors could have groupies if they wanted them. Like I had there were they call them sapiosexuals. These are women and men that are really really attracted to smart people. And I'm not a lot of things, but one thing I can say I am is I think I'm smart enough, right? I can, I mean, you're a professor, you're not supposed to be stupid. So I would meet these women that would just be really interested in me, right? My jokes were really funny, and I became like the most interesting man in the world. And then when I became like a little, they see me on TV, that was just they would just pass out. And but anyway, but the good thing was it wasn't hard to meet people. Like I just go to do events and some pretty girl would come up and just give me like this look and I'd be like, oh, oh, right. Well, there was this lady I met and she was really nice and she was very pretty and very smart, just my type. And we had a little relationship and I wanted to date her and she didn't want to date me though very long. I think she wanted to date me for a while and then she moved on and whatever. And it was fine. And I remember when that happened, I was sad. I was like, man, this sucks. I'm not feeling so good right now. So I just told my assistant, I said, I'm not going home right now. I'm gonna just stay in Oklahoma or wherever I was. I don't remember where I was at. I said, I'm gonna just stay in the room and just meditate. I'm gonna see how if I can turn this sadness into something positive. I'm going to just live inside this and figure it out, understand this. So you know what I did? Let me tell you, just honest God truth. Little tip for anybody that if it helps you. I spent the whole 3 days doing nothing but doing research on relationships. Like how does it work? Like why do you feel sad when you break up?